Joining me now was the former police commissioner of the New York City Police Department, Bill Bratton. He is also the executive chairman of Teneo Risk, and he's the author of The Profession, a memoir of community, race, and the arc of policing in America. Bill, thanks so much for being here. The writer of that Wall Street Journal article, who works in the field of mental health, wrote that the very word asylum brings shivers to those old enough to remember its abuses. And yet, he's arguing it's time to bring back those asylums. Do you agree?
I believe it's time to bring back a newer version. I would use the term custodial care. Don't use the term asylum because it has such a negative connotation. I agree wholeheartedly with the doctor that you just had on previous to me. The idea that we're not doing these people any favors, leaving them out on the street in abysmal conditions. And many of them, unfortunately, are committing incredible acts of violence that, unfortunately, because of their circumstances, they cannot control. No, I think our government has an obligation to take care of these people, and by taking care of them, they take care of the rest of us. We know the big institutions are a failure. They attempted to replace them back in the 70s with 11,000 local neighborhood care centers where people could return to their neighborhoods to be treated.
Right.
They had a lot of drugs to work with back then. We're 50 years farther along in this problem. We have many more potential solutions for the illnesses they're suffering. But when you leave them out on the street and in the subways, they're not going to get appropriate treatment. Put them into custodial care where they can take the medicines, where they can receive basically food, shelter. This problem is not one that cannot be solved. It can be solved. Learn from the past. Take advantage of all that we have going for us now. We created the mental health issues of the 1970s that created the homeless problems of the 70s, and we then created the drug problems of the 80s.
Right.
And what are the problems on the streets today? Drugs, homelessness, and basically mental illness.
But I think the issue is whether you call them asylums or mental hospitals or whatever you call them, the crux of the matter is society, the city leadership, police, able to force someone to receive medical care? Say, for example, like Jordan Neely's example, he had, previously to, the incident that killed him in the subway that day, he had previously punched an elderly woman in the face, broken her cheekbone, and was sent to a mental hospital where he got up and left after a few days. He refused treatment. That's the crux of the matter. Are we allowed as a society to force people to stay in a hospital and receive treatment, sometimes against their will?
We already do that. We call them jails and prisons. 40% of the inmates at Rikers Island in New York City are known to be suffering from significant mental health issues. We replace those mental asylums with our jails and prisons.
Right, but those people have been arrested and charged with a crime. I'm talking about people who have not been caught committing a crime, but are clearly mentally ill. Mental health advocates have argued it's an infringement on that person's rights to force them into a hospital and make them stay. But I want to play something that Andrew Yang said during the debate for New York City mayor in 2021. Take a listen.
Yes, mentally ill people have rights, but you know who else have rights? We do. The people and families of the city. We have the right to walk the street and not fear for our safety because a mentally ill person is going to lash out at us.
Does Andrew Yang have a point there?
I agree wholeheartedly with him. I'm sorry that, in terms of people with mental illness, most of them cannot help the fact that they have it, bipolar, et cetera. They cannot help that, but society has an obligation to help them. Does that require custodial care? Does it require a potential infringement on their rights to basically try and save their lives and save the lives of others that they might harm? Society has that obligation. So I think we're moving back to a time with this appreciation that as much as we try to be sensitive to the rights of every individual, we also have to be sensitive to the rights of society as a whole.
Right. I think that, when we hear advocates for the homeless and mentally ill saying you can't force them to do this, I'm not sure if is a mentally ill person the best person to be making the decision about his or her medical care.
That's correct. And that was the issue back in the 70s, that they were going to self-treat. And they got into the neighborhoods after they were let loose from back in those days, the asylums, and they did not self-treat. Why? A lot of the medications have side effects that they did not like, so they went off the meds. But unfortunately, there's a segment of this population that requires supervision and custodial care. That's the reality of life. And instead, we're dumping them in our jails and prisons.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.